Before conducting a needs analysis, it's critical that you know 6 key important points. And these important points actually come from a book by McGirdle called Conducting a Needs Analysis. This is a critical resource for you. And I don't get any credit for this particular book or talking about it in this course. However, my job is to provide the students who take my courses with the best out there. And although this book was written in 1998, it is a fantastic resource, and so I encourage you to look at it. Nevertheless, let's look at the 6 key points you need to know when conducting a needs analysis. The first thing is to include management early. The key thing about a needs analysis is that you can come up with the best report, or you can identify the most critical gaps, but without managerial support, your suggestions will fall on deaf ears. And so your focus needs to be on management really, really early. And the question you need to be able to answer is, what is the return on investment for your needs analysis? You have to keep that in mind as you go in. Secondly, it's important to understand that not every problem has to do with training. Training is a key element, but it may not be the cause of the problem, and you need to really think about what that problem might be. So, let's think about this. What is the difference between technical knowledge or skills? Okay? And you need to be able to think about the difference between the two, the nuanced difference between the two, so that you can determine whether training will actually identify the problem or whether it's a skills issue that needs to be addressed. We'll talk a little bit more about this throughout the course. Thirdly, let's think about the big picture. What is the purpose of the needs analysis? It's easy to identify gaps sometimes, but what is it about your intervention that will help this organization actually understand why these gaps are emerging and the impact of these gaps on the performance of the organization? So some key questions you could think about is, why do people perform well or not perform well? And what performance is desired? And something that I like to really throw in there as well is asking the question whether performance is discussed at all in the organization, something for you to consider. Fourth, let's look at some of the influential factors of the organization. At first glance, it might appear to be a fully functioning organization. However, your job as the person conducting a needs analysis is to look at the links between things and find the influential factors. You're thinking about the environment, you're thinking about individuals, their skills, their knowledge, their attitudes towards the job, and how that results in certain outcomes. You are making those links between cause and effect. And so an important question you need to ask is, what is not obvious but important? A key thing to think through. Number 5, training does not equal education. All right, there's a difference between education and training. Education is general knowledge. For example, understanding that the sky is blue or that the ocean is not actually blue, it's a reflection of the sky, is education. However, training is job specific. A job specific example is how to turn on a machine. That is a training or a requirement that is different to education. Education is general, training is specific. And so a question you could ask is, would training be enough without education? For example, could the person still do their job, or do they actually need some general knowledge to understand the way all of these pieces fit together in order to see where their skills fit in to the broader picture? If someone knows how to turn a screw or tighten a bolt, that's a skill, but do they understand that tightening the screw actually results in the machine being able to produce these multiple functions, right? These general functions. So thinking about broad and specific, really critical when you're thinking about training. Finally, are there performance standards and criteria in the organization? What would excellence look like? Really important for you to know, and I've asked some key questions here. What are considered some baseline skills? What level of performance is expected from individuals, from groups, for example, streams, departments, or the organization as a whole, and stepping back a little bit, what key attitudes would be needed to be fostered in this organization for it to achieve its goals? Really important. And the key question I'm asking here is, what are the key performance indicators, the KPIs? We'll talk a little bit more about these, but you need to get a really good handle on what the KPIs are in this organization so that you can begin to think about what the organization envisages and what it's actually achieving. So these are 6 things that are really important for you to think about as you go through, and I hope you're writing them down, typing them out, thinking about them, because as we go through the course, we hope to answer some of these questions. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next lecture. I hope you're enjoying this course so far.